Hey y'all. I didn't even realize time was up that quick. So Country Boy, I just watched that video. Sorry, I'm like not ready. Hold on. I just watched that News Nation video about Ron Logan, and they're going over. I'm telling you, they're going over the search warrant that I already went over earlier. Basically, that it's old. It's like an old search warrant. I don't know why they're suddenly bringing it up. Hey, Beatlemaniac. Hey, Emily. Hey, Marie. Hey, Crystal Ann. Sarah. Hey, BTU, if you're still here. So, what a crazy day today. If I look tired, it's because I worked all day and I am tired. Today's crazy. Aaron Carter died, and this Adventures with Purpose thing is crazy. I know, it's so crazy. Sorry, I feel like my hair is all a mess and everything. Hey, Rody Gal. All right, so thank you, Jameson. You enjoy your movie with your boys. All right, I'll explain everything. Thanks, Rody Gal. I'll explain everything that's going on. I'll break it down the best I can. So there's been this woman on Reddit. Yeah, I'm surprised Aaron did it. I mean, it was one of those things where I felt like I knew it was like everyone knew that day was going to come. It's just kind of like when, it's sad. And I'm sure everyone can relate to Aaron Carter in a way, because I feel like there's not a home in America that doesn't have someone in their family that struggles with addiction. So, hey, Greg. Hey, Princess Megan Elsa. So rest in peace, Aaron Carter. Sure, his family's devastated, and he just had a little baby boy named Prince, and he was only like 9 months old. So it won't. You don't think it'll stick? I mean, she's got him in email admitting to it, and the stat. Okay, so let me talk about Aaron. Okay, well, all right. Let me talk about Aaron real quick. Aaron Carter, I believe, passed in his bathtub. I am going to assume that it was drug related and that he drowned because he, maybe OD'd or passed out and then drowned in the bathtub. If you see like a video on his TikTok from like 4 days ago, he was pretty, what do you call it? Like really messed up. You could tell he was talking all crazy and not making any sense, stuff like that. So, sounds like he may have relapsed and passed in his bathtub. I can show that TikTok from 4 days ago when we get to the end. But yeah, his poor baby boy. I know. Oh, my eyes are itchy. Sorry. So Jared from Adventures with Purpose. This is shocking to me. I was totally shocked. And I will explain how we got to that point, and then we can talk about Aaron afterwards. So there has been this woman in the Adventures with Purpose Reddit threads. Hey, LFT. Okay. She's been in the threads claiming to have been RAPED by Jared. And for a while, she got a lot of backlash, and people were very mean to her, saying that she's lying and things like that. And according to her, so I think it's like a few things, but all right. So last year, their grandpa died, and she did not feel comfortable going to the funeral because he was going to be there. And then I guess with all this Kylie stuff, she got very upset and decided to email him. And in these emails, he basically admits to RAPING, her, And then I guess she finally, because in these emails he told her people that he told about it, and they have come forward as witnesses for her to say, like, yeah, they, he told me too, you know what I mean? Like, he's told me about it and I know about this. And he's not in jail. He's been indicted, which means it's kind of like a preliminary hearing, but a private one where the prosecutor shows all the evidence and then they decide if it will be taken to court, which it will because he's been indicted. So they brought the evidence in the indictment. There is not a statute of limitations. It was lifted in Utah for sex crimes in 2013. So there is not a statute of limitations. In 2013, it was lifted. All right, so I can go on this website and pay the money if you guys want to see it straight from the website. I've already seen like 3 or 4 people pull it up and it be in their document section, so I can promise you that it's real. And if you guys want me to do that, I will do that just to show you. Yeah, he has to appear in court. Basically, now that he's indicted, he will have to appear in court. It's a felony charge, and he will be, then it will, I guess, go to trial if that's what he wants or whatever, I don't know. I guess they'll have a pretrial hearing, and then he can decide to say if he's guilty or not guilty and, whatever, and then they'll go from there. For Jared, I have to look at the paper, but if anyone wants me to go through the website, I can, and I'll pay for it. But I can just show you guys everything on here. And all these papers are like real. I've seen them on the actual Utah Exchange website. So it's verified. I would not share this stuff if I wasn't confident about it. Yes, thanks, Dallas. Tonight is it. Wait, do I get an extra hour? Because I get up at 6:45 in the morning, or do I lose an hour? I hope I get an extra hour because I get up really early. Okay, so these are the actual docket numbers. If anyone actually wants to go to the website and look them up, I can give you the site to look them up. You pay $5 and then you pay like a couple cents, for the papers. Like if you want, for however many paper it is, you pay 50 cents for. So if you guys, oh good, I get to sleep an extra hour. That's good because I'm tired. I woke up this morning. Usually I get up for work and it's like bright outside and it was pitch black. I was like, oh, come on. Like, who wants to get up while it's still dark out? It sucked. I was very upset. But I guess tomorrow it will go back to being light out because it falls back an extra hour, hopefully. All right, so he's being charged with charge 1, RAPE of a, darn it, I can't make it any bigger than that, of a child, first-degree felony on October 1st, 1992, which I believe I can tell you. Give me 1 second. I can tell you exactly how old he was then. Just bear with me, guys. 1 second. Just so I've heard he was 17, but I will verify it for you right now. All right. He was born in 1975. So 92. Yes, he was 17 years old. She was either 9 or 10 years old. Okay. And then the second charge is a first-degree felony charge, RAPE of a child on a different date on January 1st of 1992. Hey, Ground Up. You know what, Ground Up, I didn't forget about you. I was sick for like, had a bunch of stuff happen to me, and then I just kind of got caught up. We will get together about your family's case soon. I'm sorry. Yeah, screw this guy, right, Chris? Ugh. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I feel like Adventures with Purpose has done good things, and it doesn't really change. Like, I think Doug is probably, well, I don't know, because now I'm upset because it's alluded to the fact that he's told all his coworkers and they know. And it kind of bothers me if they do, like, know how they can support this. Okay. All right. Good. Ground Up. Well, we'll definitely get together soon and do it. And I hope everything's okay. Can I go to? Oh, I can't go. Hold on. Hold on. There's other pages. Give me a second. I have them saved. I'm just going to show the charges and then the probable cause thing so you guys can see it. And I'm not going to show all the stuff, but I can give you guys the link if you guys want to look up yourself to verify it. I promise you it's real. I have verified it. You can look through the exchange website on Utah's exchange website where you can look up court documents, and it is there. All right. Here is the probable cause. The defendant and the victim are cousins. In 1992, the victim was between 9 and 10 years old. The defendant is 7 years older than the victim. Just before November 1st, 1992, the victim lived in Ephraim, which is located in San Pete County. About this time, the defendant and the victim were in the victim's bedroom when the defendant pinned the victim to the ground, pulled her underwear down, and put his peen in her. During another incident that same year, the defendant and the victim were at the grandparents' house in Manti when the defendant basically did the same thing. The information was obtained from the following witnesses: Detective Corey Devon Krebs of Ephraim City, incident report number 2206-1017. Yeah, terrible. Yeah, so does anyone not? It's definitely legit. I can go on the site and show you guys, but it's legit. Like, all right, so if you look up the Utah Exchange website, I can give it to you right now. You can literally look it up and sign in as a guest and pay $5, and they will and I think it's like 50 cents a copy, and you can get all of the stuff. It is there. So, yeah, so repulsive. And it really bothers me if, they did know, like, AWP knew about this the whole time and they didn't do anything about it, or, just swept it under the rug. That it sound from what he alluded to in the emails, which I'm a little nervous about showing, but I will. I 100%, I personally believe they are real, but you know how like things are, you can't like totally prove it. So I'm just going to say, I can't promise you that these emails are real, even though, yeah, you guys save $5. Just believe me when I say, just believe me when I say it's real. I verified it. I know, because I went into the. Here's the problem: you go in as a guest, and after a half hour, after you sign out, after you pay, you can't get back in, and you have to do it again and pay again. So it's kind of annoying. So it's real. I know, it's shocking to me too. I'm just, it's terrible. It's so terrible too, because they've been, like offering such what like feels like such a great service to grieving families, and then it's like someone that you saw as, like what seemed like a really good person, and then this comes out. Okay, so I think the police don't like the competition of having a private group such as AWP solving cases. I mean, yeah, but I don't think they're definitely not bogus. Like, she definitely, in my opinion, has proof, and he wouldn't be indicted if there wasn't enough information. Like, they wouldn't have indicted him without some good information. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. So these emails, like I said, I can't 100% say that they're real, but I'm going to assume that they are since he was indicted. And now she has witnesses because he admitted in the emails. So, like I said, I have to say it just for purposes of saving my butt. I cannot prove that these are real. These are just what's going around, and I will show you. But I do not believe they're bogus charges. He's literally being indicted. They have, they obviously have to have some evidence. I mean, he's not convicted, of course. He's not convicted. But you have his own words corroborating. Yeah. Yeah, Grant, was that Sam? Probably Sam. He has a couple ex-partners that but yeah, let me just show these. Okay, so this is her emailing him on the AWP support email, allegedly. And she said, "Do you feel better as a person doing things like this? Does this make you feel like less of a child, molesting, monster, parading around in human skin? There is no forgiveness for what you did to me in my home in Utah, Grandma and Grandpa's house in Vegas, and right above Grandma and Grandpa's head in their very own truck. The rest of the family is just about as much to blame as you because they didn't turn you in when they knew better, and I was just a child and didn't know better, and yet you're still welcomed at my family get-togethers or like my grandfather's funeral while in the parking lot getting ready to get out of the car." All right, so this happened last year, I believe. The funeral. She was getting out of the car to go to the funeral, and she's seen his face and became so violently ill that she could not attend and had to drive down the street to CVS and watch it all via Zoom. All these people may be calling you a hero and saying that you're doing such great things, but we both know the truth about you, and you're obviously not ashamed of your past, but I also am not ashamed of my past, and I have a voice, and I use it as much as I possibly can. Your secrets are not hidden. Well, I don't think it's strange timing, and here's my understanding of it. She's been saying this for a very long time on Reddit. I mean, she's been trying to get this out there for a while, and nobody believed her. And people were mean to her and saying how terrible she was to accuse him of this. I mean, this isn't just something that just popped up out of nowhere. She's been trying to talk about this, and when people look at someone as like a hero, they disregard what you're saying. And I'm sure her seeing him, be treated like some hero, it pissed her off, and finally she mustered up the courage to email him, and then she got the proof she needed, and he names people he told in the email, and then she got witnesses, and then she was able to actually do something about it. So I don't believe this was like timing, like I don't feel like she suddenly brought this up to become famous or something like that. She's been saying it on Reddit for a while. She's all right, put it this way. Queen Bee had Jared on a long time ago, before Kylie Rodney even happened. She had him on her channel to talk about the PI, right? And then right after that show, somebody emailed her, and at the time she she just thought it was some bogus thing, but somebody had emailed her that information saying, he supposedly did this. So this has been out. She's been trying to tell people, hey, Jen Lou, she's been trying to tell people, and nobody would take her seriously until now that she has this proof and there's actually charges. Yeah, maybe LFT. I can see that too. So, as you can see, this says AWP support team. This is allegedly him answering back. I'm so very sorry for the things we cannot change. It is unfortunate that the Lisek and Juhasz lineage experienced the shit that you and I and many other cousins were brought into. Like yourself, I was once a victim by multiple people, both in and out of the family. It is unfortunate when families like ours experience... Hold on. While there's a lot of shit that happened throughout my own life personally, from molestation, abandonment, growing up in foster care, and any of that other shit along the way, I would not change a thing, for it has made me who I am today. I cannot apologize for others for anything that has happened to you in your life, but I have done my best to acknowledge directly with you my own mistakes. I hold no secrets as to this with my own parents, with grandma and grandpa, with your mother, aunt so-and-so, so-and-so, and so-and-so, which I'm guessing these are the witnesses because they're blocked out, and blank, my own wife, and my children. I have even discussed publicly about my situation and the unfortunate shit that has happened within families. Do we pinpoint it to the Lisek and Juhasz lineage, or do we pinpoint it to Mormonism? I do not have an answer. Which, this kind of bothers me. Thanks, Muffy. This kind of bothers me that he does this, because it's kind of like gaslighting. Like, he's like, oh, can we blame Mormonism, or can we blame the family? Like, bro, blame yourself. Like, take accountability at least. If you did this to her, stop blaming it on everyone else and everything else, and take freaking responsibility. He said, there's no way for me to understand the hatred and resentment that you must have for me over 3 decades later. I heard about your driving into the cemetery a few weeks later. Trust me, had I known that you had the desire to be there and that I was the only reason keeping you away, I would have 100% given up my time to do what I could to avoid the ceremony so that you would feel comfortable and have your time with Grandma and the rest of the family. It is your decision and your choice if you ever want to accept my apology. I have made peace in my life with all things bad, including this situation. If you ever want to discuss, I am always available to have that conversation with you in person or over the phone. Sincerely, Jared. I think I'm on 4. Okay. And then she says, allegedly. Yeah, it is totally a shocking response, for sure. Yeah. She says, if you truly want to apologize for your actions, walk into a police station with me and confess your actions, get it on record, and have yourself registered as the sex offender that you are. My only regret in life was not being as open about you and your abuse to anyone and everyone who would listen like I am now, and turning you into the police like you should have been. I don't understand how you can try and get me to sympathize with you and your past issues. Not at all. It angers me twice as much to know that not... Oh, boy. I was opening my soda and it almost spilled me. Sorry. Okay. Not at all. It angers me twice as much to know not only did you know firsthand the torture you are inflicting upon me because you experienced it yourself. That makes you an even bigger monster than I've pictured in my head. Absolutely disgusting. You're an emotional vampire. I noticed all the therapy terms you use in your message. Typical narcissism at its best. How somebody could ever come to peace with damaging such a young, innocent human being is beyond me. Proof of a completely broken mind, assuming that there would be any kind of peace after these types of actions, or that peace should even be deserved. You are I'm not going to say that word, but I'm sure y'all can see it. Do not act like you were not old enough to know what you were doing to me during that ages that you were. You could have been tried as an adult at that age and should have been. And as to the comments about my life and things that have happened to me, I don't know who or why you're even discussing me with, but I can guarantee you that nobody really knows anything, because just like your situation, I've kept my mouth shut until recently, and I don't talk to any of the family, despite what other, as you say, cousins have come to you and said. So be a real man and turn yourself in and pay for your crimes, or continue to be the small, sad, mental midget that couldn't keep his libido under control and blames it on his past. Thanks. Yeah, this is terrible. Yeah, I don't think he'll be on another episode of Dr. Phil, that's for sure. All right. Okay. This is him responding, which I feel like, or allegedly, let me just say that. This is him allegedly responding. This kind of bothers me too, because he tries to downplay his age and say he was much younger than he was, and this is just not true based on the dates. So he says, unfortunately, your desire to have a 46-year-old male live, well, I mean, it might not go anywhere legally, but publicly, this is going to hurt him bad. I'm sorry if this is triggering for anybody. I should probably said trigger warning beforehand, but like it worked. A very long day, and I wasn't even thinking about it, so I apologize. But yeah, it's very easy to do the maths, Annalise. So, unfortunately, your desire to have a 46-year-old man live with the mistakes of a 12-year-old, he was not 12, he was 17, simply is not realistic. Thank God we are not forever judged for our actions as youth, and I am grateful that many of us cousins acknowledge and stop those sins which happened to us and those sins we once committed as a result of grooming. So, like, he keeps saying, like, that's okay. Yeah, but he was still much older and at an age, yeah, he admits it. I mean, in these emails, look, I can't say for 100% that they're real, but I'm going to guess that they are, because he has charges now, and she says that she got these charges because he admitted in email, and he admitted in the email who we told, and now those people are coming for it. Yeah, he was 17. He knew exactly what he was doing. Right. Okay, I will. Tell. All right, 1 second, guys. She said the mansion is calling. Hold on. Give me a second to remember how to do this. I forget how to do. Oh, I'm like doing it. Hold on. I mean, I don't really care if you guys see my statistics or anything. Customization, subscribe. All right, guys. I'm letting you know right now, there's probably going to be a bunch of people coming in, so I'm going to set it on subscribers only mode just so I don't get a bunch of trolls. So I'm only setting it for a minute, so if you want to chat in the chat and you haven't subbed yet, do that. Sorry. Okay. Ah, crap. I'm just putting everything all over my screen. Okay. Yeah. So I don't know, Muffy. It's I don't know. Like I get he probably could be tried as an adult because it's so close. I don't know if they'll charge, like if he gets charged. Yeah. Like, all right, I can say for sure that there's no statute of limitations in Utah. Okay, so that's why, like, you know, she's able to charge him now. But I don't know how it would work going about, like, do they charge him as a minor or an adult? I'm not sure. Okay, so yeah, this kind of bothers me because if it is real, he's like lumping himself in with a group of people instead of just saying like, yes, I did this. It was like, oh, we cousins have all done it. Like it's normal and it's okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, Parker, you're right. Hold on. All right, so he says it is healthy for you to now be open and talk about the past. You, as a full-grown woman in your early 40s, are to be commended for facing and standing up to those actions which happened to you in your past. Spread awareness and stop the cycle, as we cousins within the family have for our own children and grandchildren. Protect your children and grandchildren, as we have to help the world become a better place. We live in a society that acknowledges the mistakes made in the past, accepting those who have proven to change. My life holds no secrets, and everyone in my office feels your pain and has seen this email string, for I don't filter my own emails. So he's claiming that everyone in his office has seen this. And yeah, I do. He's being charged with child RAPE. Exactly. I'll pull it up again, Jen, or after I'm done these emails. But yeah, I do. They know me for the man that I am and not the mistakes of a 12-year-old. He was 17, not 12, who learned to recognize the cycle and break the cycle as many of us cousins did. Like, why do you keep bringing up other people? Yeah, like he keeps, it's like such gaslighting words. Like, we, the cousins, have changed. Like, why are you not personally owning up? Like, it's like he's trying to avoid having to personally own up and trying to make it like it's not my fault. It's the whole family's fault. You were younger and not ready to accept my apology and recognize the steps we made for future generations to protect them. I hope you can one day find forgiveness and peace. Feel free to have any last words, for I will not respond to any further attacks as to my character today based upon those actions as a youth. Should you desire a healthy adult conversation as to the past, I am open to helping you through the acceptance and growth that many of us faced and dealt with. That pisses me off so bad, sorry. Like, that is just so foul to say. Sorry. All right. There's a little bit that. And then he says, if you have not done so already, I suggest reaching out and lean on her for guidance as one closer to your age who within the family has gone through this with us. I'm not sure your relationship with Aunt so-and-so or your mother, but I suggest leaning on them as well, for they experience much of the same in their own youth. And then it said, okay, Sincerely, Jared. And then down here, the person that he refers to as blank would be my cousin blank and one of his previous victims prior to me. He referred me to her so that way she could help me learn how to forgive him, not to mention unprovoked by me. She contacted me a few days after these emails happened and has tried to convince me, but all of this is not as bad as I see it. And then all right, so allegedly this is her responding back. Yeah, it's gross. Then she says, let's do some math here. I was 9 or 10 when living in Utah, and you forced me to have sex with you on my bathroom floor upstairs. You were 6 or 7, or you were 6 or so years older than me, and that makes you older than 12. In Las Vegas, at Grandma and Grandpa's house, you were living there, and you had your own car, a Volkswagen Beetle, and I was driving it when it ran. So please stop making it sound as if you were a young child during the time you were molesting me. Maybe you started that young with the others, but as you are not willing to face your wrongdoing in a proper fashion, then that is on you and you alone. Anyone who supports you in your sick, delusional fantasy of forgiving yourself for the pain and suffering you cause and willingly and knowingly cause not only a child, but your own family member. But I do appreciate you admitting it all in writing. And then he answers, you are welcome. I hope it helps in your healing process, Jared. And then at the bottom it says, thanks, AWP support team. Okay, so here's the charges. Jen. And here's the case number. In case anyone wants to look it up, I can send you the website. Here, let me post the website too in case you guys want to look it up. But it's real. This is the Exchange web thing where you can look stuff up. Yeah, I believe. Effective. Well, so in Utah, I believe they changed it in 2013 that there's no statute. Hold on. So in 2013, the Utah legislature removed the statute of limitations for most serious sex crimes, allowing time for victims to come forward when they are ready, not when the state says they should be. Victims of sex crimes often hesitate to come forward for many reasons. According to UtahCriminalLaw.net, 19 first and second degree felony crimes in Utah currently have no statute of limitations. Those crimes include RAPE, RAPE of a child, object RAPE, object RAPE of a child, forcible sodomy, sodomy on a child, essay of a child, aggravated essay of a child, and aggravated essay. Sorry, I'm hitting all kinds of things. Well, what would be the point? If they had to go by the laws in 1991, what would be the point of removing the statute of limitations? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, if they remove the statute of limitations, then they don't have to have a statute of limitations from 1991. That's the whole point of removing it. If that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, they might have to charge him based on their laws of 1991, but since they removed the statute of limitations, there's no limitations. So they don't, like, it gives them any amount of time to come forward, no matter how long it happens. So it doesn't high rate. Yay! Oh, well, welcome, Roxy. Thank you. I love you guys too. So, hey, V Tim. Oh my gosh. Hold on. Let me go back up. Hey, Denise. Hey, B Tim. Hey, Grandma Sherry. Hey, Kim Bissett. Am I saying that right? Lacey Ann. Blue Diamond. NorCal Girl. Kimberly Rose. That Girl. Cleo. Eli. Oh, yay. Yeah. So they may. Okay. So Beautiful Soul. Hi. RKM10. Am I missing anyone else? Hey, X Earth. Allie. True Crime Daily 1.0. If there was a stat, I get what you're saying, but the whole reason of removing the statute of limitations is so that there is no statute of limitations, even if it happened in 1991. You get what I'm saying? Like, I get what you're trying to say, but yeah, right, Chris? So, like, all right, how can I, if they remove the statute of limitations for sex crimes, major sex crimes, then there's just no statute of limitations. But they might have to charge him based on the 1991 laws, but there's, there would be no point in removing the statute of limitations if you had to follow the statute of limitations from back then. Yeah. Yes. Is that what they are? Bees? Oh my gosh, they look like airplanes for me. Look. When they're small, they look like airplanes. I was like, why is everyone spamming airplanes? They are bees. That's awesome. What up, True Texan? Hey, Celeste. Oh, hey, Josh. Hey, Lacey Ann. Hey, Kimmykins. Hey, Kendra. Yeah, so, I mean, he's been indicted, so he can be charged. He's been indicted. The court documents are there. Hold on, I'm pulling them up now. I know Jen Lou wanted to see him. So, hey, Gen X. Hey, Tina. Yeah, right? Remove all limitations for crimes against children. The lizards. Hey, Rock Jam. Yeah, it doesn't apply when it involves a minor in Utah. So I mean, the charging might apply. Hey, Frisco Chick. Welcome all my new subs. Thank you, Queen Bee, my girl. All right, so can you guys see it? I'm gonna have to add a bunch of new channels to Nightbot. Hey, France. Is Smethurst saying it right? So yeah. So like I was saying, is it? Hey, Queen. She said, "Yo, Raid." So yeah, I like take whatever you want from them. You know what? I'll send the Reddit link too if you guys want to look at the emails. But like I said, I can't verify that they're real. So I personally believe that they are, but oh shoot, hold on. How do I share? There we go. I'm inclined to believe that they are real, but I can't prove they are real. But it sounds like this is how she was able to obtain those charges. And the emails are, they make me so angry, because it's just like he just keeps lumping in that it's a family thing and us cousins, instead of just like taking responsibility for it, Oh wait, where was I? Okay. So these charge 1 for the date of October 1st, 1992, RAPE of a child, first degree felony. Location, Sanpete County. And then charge 2, RAP of a child, first degree felony in Sanpete County in January 1st, 92. The plaintiff, the state of Utah, represented by Eric Butler, defendant Jared Lysek. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Sorry, let me make that bigger. So, case filed by e-filer, filed from information Judge Mandy Larson assigned, a summons to issue. I believe he has court November 30th, so we'll find out more then. I hope so too, beautiful soul, and I'm sorry that you had to go through that as a child. I'm so disappointed too. I'm so disappointed, because I really went hard for AWP. I'm disappointed that I did now, because I really did. I will say that I did hear a lot of negative things about Jared, but I really like Doug Bishop. And I'm even sucks to say that I'm kind of disappointed if he does know about this, that that might not be included. So, Country Boy, that might not be included on the list of charges that might have a statute of limitations to it, if that makes sense. There was only so many charges that don't have a statute of limitations, and I don't think that one is included. Hey, it's me, Jay. Yeah, I think that's important too. You're right, Jen. What one person does not reflect the lifestyle of the team. So, in no way or shape or form does I think any of those other people would ever condone that. But if his whole team didn't know about this, I also think he dimmed it down for them too. I feel like based on his emails, he told them that he was 12. And he wasn't 12. He was 17. So that makes a big difference. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah. I'm sure Sam is, happy. Well, so here's, if you don't know the history, Sam and Jared were kind of business partners in the beginning with Adventures with Purpose. And he left because he didn't like the way that Jared was running it, allegedly. And, he was keeping all the money and kind of just, saying, you can build your channel through here. But he wasn't really paying them besides, room and board and for food and things like that. So, there are other great dive crews I found that do something. Yeah, doesn't, Chaos Divers or something like that do Chaos Divers? I think there's one called that. Hey, please help me, Facebook. Raid chat with the bees and the lizards. You know what? I'm gonna have to make a lizard themed. I'll be monetized after tonight for sure. I have PayPal and Cash App. They're both on my on my about page. But I will be so I have over 1,000 subs, but I'm at 3,000 hours 966 before I started. So after tonight, YouTube should be emailing me. I should be getting an email, hopefully. I have an excellent article to share, Kate, about a husband and wife die. Oh yeah, that'd be cool. If anyone wants to come up too, I'll share the link. I am just so disappointed though, because I really did go hard for them, and not that I think, I guess I'm like having like a moral dilemma with this, because I want to say I know that they're all good, like the other people are probably all good people, but if they do know about all this, that it's disappointing that they knew and they were like okay with it. But like I said, he probably did dim it down very much.
Hey, I've been watching AWP since way back in the day before they blew up.
Yeah.
So I can tell you quite a bit about them. And I watched when Sam was there. I watched when they got rid of their first videographer, which he was awesome. So I can tell you a little bit about the team if you want to know stuff about that.
So do you do you think that's what happened, like what Sam was saying? That
I do, because I do remember that Jared had made t-shirts with Sam's picture on it, and he kept the proceeds from it.
Oh, really?
Without even asking him permission to put his face on it.
Yeah.
I do. I remember that. And you can tell that there was tension between them. And I think that Jared was kind of running them ragged, because it was a team of 3 people at one point. It was Jared, Sam, and then they had a photographer, which was a young college kid named Wolfgang. Yes, that was really his name, Wolfgang.
Wolfgang?
And yeah, and he was a young kid, and they were working their butts off, and they weren't really receiving a whole lot for doing it. And I recall when they had their breakup, I guess we could call it a breakup, Sam actually did a live on his channel. I don't know if it's still on there, but him and the young kid, Wolfgang, got on there and explained that, they felt like they weren't getting what they deserved, and they were putting in so much effort and weren't seeing a lot in return.
Yeah.
The other thing was Sam he was very vocal and said, I tried to have a conversation with him. I went man to man, and I told him, I don't think that this cut is working. This isn't fair. Like, I still have to feed my family too. And Jared was like, well, fuck you. And that was that. And he was and it was one of those showdowns, because I had one device at the time. So I had Sam on my phone, and then I'd switch from Sam and go over to Jared, because Jared went live as soon as Sam went live to try to debunk what was being said. But you could tell that there was some truth to what Sam was saying, because Jared's body posture just told it all. He was sitting in a chair. He was really stiff. He had his arms crossed, and he couldn't really debunk too much of what Sam was saying. But people went into his chat, into Jared's chat, and were saying, like, pay your men, like, be good to your people. That's your team. Those are your backups. You need them.
So I thought maybe, like, it does kind of seem like, maybe he was kind of like preparing for something like this, because he has been really like...
He's pulled out of the spotlight because he's a very unlikable person on the camera.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that the first 2 cases that he solved, I don't think he intentionally meant to be insensitive, but he was insensitive, where they found a woman's husband who went over a guardrail, and the whole family showed up, and they had candles, and, Jared gave her a hug and said he was sorry. And then he went right into, I mean, not as drastic as merchandise, but he went right into, and this is why AWP needs your donations. And it was, see the look on people's faces that was standing around him, like, no, bad timing. But it was like he couldn't control himself. So he stepped back and kind of put Doug in the limelight, because Doug is more of a people person.
Thank you, Kimberly. Yeah. I think Doug is more of a people person.
I've watched them before. I will say I can't speak on their finances because I'm not directly involved, but I can say, as someone who watched them when they first started, I'll give you a perfect example of how tight Jared is with money. He used to take his daughter with him, and they would just clean ponds and lakes, and they would get sunglasses and wallets and shoes and cans and clean up debris. So he had tons and tons and tons of sunglasses, you could imagine. So they were kind of finishing up for the day, and his daughter said, let's go get an ice cream. And he's like, yeah, let's get an ice cream. And then as they're walking over, he's like, I don't have any money on me. So he went back and grabbed like one of the pairs of sunglasses that they were probably Oakley's. They were probably a couple $100. He actually bought it for ice cream with a used pair of sunglasses because he didn't have money. That's not even a lie. That's a true story. I watched it live.
That's crazy. Hey, 3-boy mom. Hey, Mike. Hey, Christian. Am I saying that right? Yeah, I just
the history.
Like,
that's all.
I feel like he might I don't know now. I mean, it's definitely going to be a hard hit for them regardless. But I don't know if he steps back and lets Doug kind of like handle the reins.
Mm-hmm. But he's the control. I don't know. Like I said, I've watched him for years, and he likes being in control. But he knows that he's been outspoken, and sometimes he says things at the wrong time, the wrong tone, and that's why I thought for a while there that's why he stepped away. In fact, he's actually said it, that he comes across as a little bit more abrasive on the camera than other people, and that's kind of pushed Doug in. But I also think recently, with all of these cases that they've been able to solve, I think the old Jared would have been right in the limelight because, I mean, this is his baby. He's the one who created it. But I do think he knew that this was brewing, and that's also why he stepped back and he's not in front of the camera as much as I was surprised that he actually went and did all those Kylie interviews, to be honest, because he's tried to stay off camera because he does not come across as a likable guy. And he said it.
Well, this girl has been doing this for like months, like going around, and it makes me wonder if he started getting nervous because he's seen her like talking about this publicly and was trying to get ahead of it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it could be that. I mean, I don't think his team knew any of this in advance. I really don't. And I think Doug is a family man, and I think he's going to struggle with it. I honestly do. Yeah. But, you know,
Doug. I hope he didn't know. I really hope he didn't know because I like Doug.
But the one thing that I've learned, not only from creators, but from watching like channels, people are dispensable. They're replaceable. And what really upset me is when he parted ways with the videographer who, you know, he's a young kid. He's all of 18, being taken, you know, leaving his family, leaving his girlfriend, his friends. When he let him go, it was the most degrading, insulting goodbye I've ever seen on a live in my life. He literally had the kid in front of the camera and was like, we've had some good times, right? Yep. Okay. And kind of smooshed him for a few minutes. And I was like, but you're out of here. So, yep, if you want to just step off to the side. And then he brought in the new videographer right in front of him, was like, and this who's taking place. It was done so distastefully. I had such a bad taste in my mouth because I felt so bad for that poor kid who had just sacrificed all of his time editing those videos, probably for dirt money.
Yeah.
Away
for what it sounds like, probably close to nothing. Probably food and, you know what I mean? And his channel.
I kind of always wondered if Sam didn't leave because maybe I noticed right about the time that Sam left was when Doug was starting to really be there more and more and take like a bigger role. And at first I thought maybe Sam felt like got his toes stepped on or whatever. So I kind of at first thought maybe he left because of the whole Doug thing, but a few months back, and I mentioned this earlier, Kate, and you knew exactly what I was talking about. Sam did that video when he was in that therapy tub, and he was talking about how Jared was not the person that everybody thought he was, and he was fake, and that if anybody knew the real Jared, they wouldn't support AWP and they wouldn't give Jared anything. Basically called him a liar about the whole shoestring budget thing because he said that guy has millions of dollars coming in.
Mm-hmm. Did you see Sam's live by any chance? The one that he went on with the young kid, that Wolfgang, explaining why he left?
No, I just saw the video he released a few months back in the therapy tub where he was basically saying, and I didn't even watch all of it. I watched like half of it and I went to bed. But I mean, he was pretty hardcore about what he was saying against Jared. And then that when he said that kind of told me right there that it really had nothing to do with Doug. So
I'm pretty sure he spoke with CK too, and she recorded him without him knowing or something, because I know he's really upset about it. And then but he pretty much, told the story, like from what I've heard. I didn't listen to the whole thing, but he's pretty much said the same thing to her.
Yep.
Hey, Allie.
Back in the chat.
And the whole thing sucks because just like you, Kate, granted, I have a very small channel right now. My channel's not monetized or anything, nowhere even close, but I'm still a creator and I hardcore supported them. And I was on your live and a couple other lives in support of them and talking about how great they were. And, now I kind of wish I hadn't, but you don't know. And it really sucks. I put this in the chat earlier. He created something wonderful and amazing with AWP and he just smeared shit on it.
Yeah. I know. I'm disappointed because we lost Jen. I don't know if she removed the video, but I'm pretty, like, I remember Glare covering it and saying that he didn't know he's being recorded and he was really upset about it. But she didn't remove it for a while, I know that. So I don't know if it's still there or not. But I do know that they're okay, Jen. I was like, oh, wait, we lose her. But yeah, I went hard, like I still think, I'd like to think that Doug didn't know, and maybe Jared just said everybody, like, in my office knows, or I didn't hide it or whatever, and I'd like to think that he didn't, because he seems like a really big, family man, and so.
I hope they didn't. I mean, I don't know. Doug is a whole different animal from Jared. I mean, with the exceptions of what they do with AWP. I mean, you can just tell by his personality and the way he talks, he's a whole different animal. So I really hope he didn't know.
Yeah.
And I saw a couple people earlier say that they hope that AWP maybe can continue without Jared. But honestly, at least for Doug's part of it, I don't think he would even want to, because I don't know that he would want to be associated with it at all.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's just disappointing. I mean, I hope that if Doug says he didn't know, I hope people will give him the benefit of the doubt. And Jared hasn't been convicted yet, so we do have to, even though I do tend to believe that, it probably did happen, he hasn't been convicted yet, so we have to give him that. It is still up? Oh, okay.
And you're right, he hasn't been convicted yet, and everybody gets their day in court. And I'm not saying this is fake, and I'm not victim shaming or anything here, but there have, this was alluded to in the chat earlier, there have been people that have made up stuff to try to take somebody down or whatever. So until he goes to court and gets convicted, he's still innocent. And I really hope that maybe that is the case, but
he definitely has money for a good lawyer too. Yeah, Mike, he definitely does.
Well, that's true, but one thing about it is there's no lawyers in heaven, and everybody meets their maker eventually, and he will pay for it one way or another.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys ever seen this, but Jared has like a website with his story on it to tell about his life, and I guess because he has a lot of things that happened to him in the past, and he wants to be upfront. It's like, oh, if it says like, if you do business with me, I want to be upfront, so do business with me or something. He also has a SoundCloud. Wait, Sam or Jared has a SoundCloud? Because I'll check that out. Yeah, indicted is kind of all right. So an indictment is kind of like a preliminary hearing, but privately. Like, they go privately, and show all their evidence to the judge, and then the judge decides basically if it's enough evidence to charge somebody and go to trial with it. So that's kind of like what an indictment is.
So here's the thing that gets me about it, though, and I know all states are different, but it's weird that he's been charged but not arrested, and there's a summons on there that says that he has to report to the police station the day of court for book-in and release, and if he doesn't, then an arrest warrant will be issued. See, the thing is, I'm in Indiana, and there was a guy from Indiana that had done a lot of really bad things, very similar to this, and he was in Kentucky, and Indiana knew where he was, and they had Kentucky pick him up, and then they sent somebody down there to get the guy and transport him back. So I don't understand why. I mean, I know he doesn't live in Utah. He lives in, I believe, Colorado, but you would think that they would want to take him into custody if they're charging him. I don't understand why they're charging him but not taking him into custody and then letting him turn himself in before court. That doesn't make any sense.
I'm guessing because it happened so long ago, and I don't know how, maybe because of the time. I don't really know how it works. I know it's a felony. Other than that, I don't really know how that works. Maybe because it's been so long.
I mean, it could be just the simple fact that he lives in another state, or it could be what you just said.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I mean, it's just weird. You would think they would at least maybe try to have Colorado take him into custody and then have him transported. It's just weird that you would issue 2 federal charges or felony charges for something of that nature and not have that person taken into custody. That just seems strange.
Yeah.
But it's Utah, and everything's strange in Utah, right?
Right. I can agree with that. So hold on, let me read this to you guys. So this is his story. He says, I live my life as an open book with no skeletons. If someone wants to know something about me, just ask. So just from that line, I wonder if people reach out for comment, if he is open to commenting about it, since he says just ask. I care about people and their feelings, always wanting to encourage and uplift, but know that if you ask me something, I will always be honest and direct. It may hurt your feelings at times, but know that I don't want to beat around the bush, and you'll always know where I stand. Some of you may have found this page after researching my name, Jared Lysek, or Jared Ray Lysek. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but I want to determine if I am worthy of your trust, your friendship, your time, and or your business. We live in a digital age, and I have nothing to hide, so sit back and let me share my story. I'll touch on my childhood, my marriage, my homeless experience, successes, failures, and yes, I will even share the time I was investigated by the SEC back in 2001. The beginnings. My story is similar to many others. Broken home, multiple marriages for both parents, tossed into the foster care system at the age of 9, often wondering why the new children and stepkids were put on a pedestal, and often feeling left abandoned. My grandparents finally stepped in and took me into their home. This is the time in my life which I learned proper hygiene, how to cook, clean, iron, how to love and be loved. I can't say I was always good for them, nor did I always stay out of trouble, but without them, I don't think I would have had the fighting chance for whom I've become today. And I thank and love my grandparents for that chance, the change, and the opportunities they provided me. I will say this, parenting does not come with a handbook. We can't choose our parents, but we do choose to be parents, so be the best parent you can be. While you can't change history, you can learn from your mistakes and the mistakes of others, making a change for the future.
Well, there's something interesting in that right there, because besides the messaging that you shared back and forth between him and her earlier, one of the accusations was that it happened in his grandparents' home. And he just said in that little story right there that he lived with his grandparents.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, well, she even claims that it happened right above their heads. I said in their truck. I don't know. Like maybe they were camping or something. I don't know, but
Could have been.
And it says, I returned to live with my father, high school dropout and homeless. I returned to live with my father later in life when he was between marriages. He soon married wife number 4. And once again, I felt that we kids took backseat to the new family. I bounced from friend's house to friend's house and finally dropped out of school. My journey took me to Grenada? I don't know if I'm saying that right. In the Bahamas and other parts of America. I ran out of money and soon became homeless, sleeping in parks, bushes, and in hotel stairwells. I even sold perfume door to door, but it never seemed to make enough, leaving me eating at soup kitchens, wandering hotel halls, looking for room service leftovers, and yes, I have even eaten out of garbage cans. During this year and a half long journey, I learned that I really didn't know everything, and as a result, I went back to school. Hey, criminality. Okay. Married with children, my junior year in high school, I put together a 10-page application to date Jared Lysek. Okay. Sounds a little, who wants to fill out this application to date me? All right, let me zoom in a little bit. All right. For fun one day, I handed it out to 20 girls or so. Where was I? Oh, who I was interested in, some who I was not, and some who I hoped had interest in me. One of the girls was in my English class, and I never thought I had a chance with her. She filled it out with near perfect answers, along with the lipstick lip print she and the perfume scent she sprayed on the application. It took another 3 months to get her to finally go on a date with me. I found out she filled it out as a joke. I guess that was his wife, who... Dating for a year and a half, we graduated high school together in 1995 and married later that same summer. Here we are 20 years later, and I can't think of a better person to have by my side as a wife and mother. She's my best friend, and I enjoy our weekly dates, the way she looks at me, the laughter, and our time together. It's my goal in life to keep my family together, to keep my girls well-grounded, while at the same time giving them a life like no other. As a husband and father, I have a lot of responsibility, and I'm grateful that I have had good fortune of providing for them with my time and activities. Working mostly out of home or home office or taking the laptop on the road has afforded me the opportunity to be around them and with them as they have grown. With less than a year to go, my youngest will be an adult, and I can't wait to see what the next chapter in life is for all of us. Now for some sad truth. While I've had an amazing life with my wife and our 2 daughters, I am saddened that I have a daughter who is not part of my life and that we have all missed out on the adventures along the way. You see, back in high school, I had a fling and had always suspected that I might have a daughter out there. When she was 5, I pushed for a paternity test and was happy to hear that she was mine and how she would blend into our family. However, you can only imagine how one would feel thinking you are your child's father, only to learn you are not. Her father became vindictive and swore I'd never get a chance in helping raise her. I can't say that I blame him for what he did in keeping her from me. She tracked me down in secret near the end of her high school years, and it was so great having a relationship with her. She wanted answers but was never satisfied with my responses. She felt I didn't try and fight hard enough for her despite the stack of court documents I've kept throughout the years. There is a hole in my heart from not being part of her life. My heart hurts that she asked I not attend her graduation. My heart hurts that I was not invited to her wedding. My heart hurts that I have a grandson in this world who I've only ever gotten to see grow up through pictures and videos. It hurts that she and her husband don't respond to my texts or emails for the time being. I've given up reaching out as to not drive her further away and will patiently wait for the day she lets me back into her life. She can't understand how I can love her, but as a father, you will always love your child regardless of the lack of time you had together through the years. Yeah.
Wow.
And then he goes into hobbies. He was from scuba diving and disc golf. The one hobby I think about and talk about most daily is powered paragliding. There's nothing quite like it, as it gives you the ability of flight, dangling your feet in the wind and rushing through your hair. At the top of the site, you'll see a few of my favorite videos, giving you a glimpse in the joy I have for the sport. And he talks about the stock market. He was a day trader, riding the wave, having a good time like thousands of others. If you reflect and think for a moment, the internet was still in its infancy, and trading online had come into play not long before this date and time. There were message boards, chat rooms, and news feeds and websites that we day traders would follow for stock announcements. Based upon these announcements, we would quickly buy and sell, hoping to be in early and out within minutes. It was a game. Some rounds I won, some rounds I lost. It was a losing that didn't sit well with me, and I thought to myself, what if I knew which stocks these websites were going to profile ahead of time? I started doing research on SEC regulations and found that if I recommended stocks, I had to be licensed with the SEC. However, I found that if I simply profiled stocks by not telling others to buy or sell, but simply profiling and reporting my research on what I deemed a good, viable company, then I was within written SEC code. So I set out on my first website adventures in early of 2000. I guess he made like a stock website where he talked about his, like what he did in stock trading, which gave other people ideas to get them stocks.
So it sounds like basically he's telling them what stocks to buy and sell without actually telling them what stocks to buy and sell.
Yeah, pretty much.
Skirting the law.
Oh no, Tina, I don't want to hear that. I'm from Philly, so you just broke my heart, Tina. That's okay. Let me shake it off. Anyway, the Phillies and the Astros are in the World Series, and she just said that the Astros got 3 runs because Alvarez hit a home run. Yeah, insider trading. Or he bought stocks earlier and then told them and then sold it to do a pump and dump. Okay. All right, where was I? So I set out on my first website adventures in early 2000, building 2 websites, gained followers through Yahoo message board, and began profiling my own stock picks. Yes, I bought stock in thinly traded companies. Yes, I told friends and family to buy stock. And yes, we often sold these stocks within minutes after profiling our stock picks on our websites to other day traders. What a rush it was, turning 3,000 into 250,000 in just a few months. One day, FedEx showed up at my door with paperwork from the SEC stating that I was being investigated as part of a nationwide crackdown on hundreds like me who were running similar websites in a space and time where there were no specific SEC rules regulating our activities with the internet and day trading being new. Some were simply profiling as I was, while others were flat out making recommendations to buy and sell, which was already written in stone and was illegal if one was not a licensed broker. In the end, I received a slap on the wrist and was told not to profile stocks on such websites. No actual charges were ever filed, no fines, just an investigation that led me to better understand the newly formed laws and the new interpretation of existing SEC rules. Of course, I complied with the request and I am free to trade stocks to this day. It was a defining moment in history as the SEC has now written new laws, rules, and regulations to help protect a new breed of online traders that followed. So what do I make of the stock market days and what I've learned? That the big boys manipulate stocks on a daily basis. Feel bad for those who continue to place their hard-earned money into the trust of brokers and companies which they have absolutely zero control over. Most stocks and trading is a game of corruption and greed, so be careful. If it's something you want to invest and be part of, do I still trade to this day? You bet. Yeah, you can, be Tim. Here, let me share a link. Play out with little evidence. Yeah, it. Hey.
Yeah, well, basically, I just wanted to explain. What he did was you look for a pump and dump. Is you look for a small cap company. When you talk about a small cap, basically like a company worth $10 million or $20 million, so that when you buy a bunch of stocks, you can easily manipulate the price really quickly. So a small group of like 10,000 people can manipulate the price and make the stock go up. So you usually get a small market. So usually you go for like penny stocks, which is anything under $5.
So kind of like what they did with the GameStop, but just on a lower level.
No, it's not like GameStop. It's not. What that was a short squeeze. A short squeeze is when you basically a lot of people, like in the stock market, you can short stocks, which basically you basically are lent stock, and then you, with the hope from the trading house, with the hope that the stock will actually drop in price, and you can buy it at a lower price, return it, and then you pocket the difference when you return it. Like, so let's say you rented the stock for $5, and then basically the price drops to $3. You return it back to the stockbroker. You buy it from the market for $3, and you return it to them for $5 with a fee, and that's shorting. So what happened with a short squeeze is basically a lot of people were shorting it, hoping the stock would go down, like these big companies, and they were borrowing stocks, and then a bunch of people bought the stocks to push the price up, and it caused a short squeeze. What this guy was doing was a pump and dump, which was basically you target small market cap companies where, like, literally, let's say, like, why I said 10 million or so, and then you buy a bunch of stocks secretly, so that no one knows that you have a large amount of stocks, and then you proceed to tell your fan base on social media to buy the stock and then immediately sell it. He sold his stock within a half hour of telling his fans, making almost close to $200,000 in just one trade. And he had to pay that fee to the SEC for that. That was the issue that he had. And if you actually I'll drop you the link just so I'll give you the document. One moment. Just because I don't you can tell that he's fucking buttering it, but he did a pump and dump, which is still done today by a lot of but usually it's done in the crypto market, not really in the stock market too much, because the SEC is jumping on that. But here, as I put in the private chat, which is the link to the SEC, the thing is discussing. But I just wanted to explain what a pump and dump basically is, and how disgusting what this guy did back then, because he probably scammed a lot of his fans and got them to lose all their money. So what happens is that he makes all the money, the stock, and then when he starts selling, the buying pressure is the selling pressure overrides the buying pressure and will tank the stock. So it will be a lower price than what he initially bought it for, and it will make all these people that actually listen to them lose all their money. I can't hear you. I don't hear you. You're on mute, Kate.
Wow.
You're on mute, Kate.
Sorry, I didn't realize I was on mute. No, I was saying, so basically he had these people put all their money in and then lose all their money to him.
Yeah, what happened is that he basically bought stocks in a company and then used the social, and then secretly not telling anyone that he bought it initially, and then told everyone, hey, buy this stock. I got a hot tip that's going up. A bunch of people buy into it because he has a large enough fan base.
And then he sells.
And then he sells a half hour later and makes hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Gotcha.
And then and you can actually pull up the article, the actual, I tossed it in the back.
So basically he bought it at a low price. Then he gets all these people to buy it and builds up the stock and then sells it at yeah.
It's a pump and dump. That's what it's called. It's a pump and dump. It's done in the crypto market a lot. It used to be done a lot in the early days, but then like online spaces. But then like with the internet, but then people just like the SEC got light of it, and they started really going after people. And that's the actual ruling against Jared. I just tossed you in the back chat that everyone was talking about, which is the U.S. Security Exchange Commission, and you can look that up. You can tell that he's just full of shit without his whole comment. Like he's really full of shit. So in 2001, you can actually read it if you want. But
he tried to make it seem like it wasn't as bad as what, like he was. Yeah, he tried to like make it sound nicer.
Yeah. Basically, he scammed a bunch of people of their hardworking money, thinking that they played on their greed and just like robbed them basically of their money, because that's what it really is. Because you're robbing these people and tricking them. Because guess what? Once the stock drops lower than they buy it.
Yeah, Allie Joe, you can join. Sorry.
Yeah, so that's pretty much what happened with that. So, yeah, a lot of people don't realize how horrible that is, a pump and dump like that. It really destroys people's lives.
Because a lot of people put like a lot of money in there.
Yeah, it's
broke over it.
It's considered like for instance, the Wolf of Wall Street was doing a bunch of pump and dumps, but he did it for high class stocks. So he would pretend to tell instead of preying on low income people, he preyed on rich people and did pump and dumps and did the exact same thing this guy did.
So basically, when Jared's writing his story on this website, being open and honest about his past, it's really his polished version of his past, and hopefully nobody ever looks any further and finds out he's full of crap.
Yeah, pretty much. With this story, at least we could see. You can actually read it, and I know she could probably read it, but you can actually read it right there, and you can see you get a better idea of the ruling. But they basically ruled against him and forced him to pay back his profits of one of his insider trading things, which was like close to $200,000.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm going to read that thing in 1 second. Oh, for some reason your mic was down so far. I'm turning it up. There we go. There we go. That should work now.
Yeah, and I know a little bit about this because I on the side I buy stocks and stuff like that. So I know a lot about the stock market, and like I don't short sell stocks. I do some options once in a while, but I usually just buy stocks for every 2 years I would sell a stock. But yeah, you kind of know about these things when you're doing the stock market a little bit.
So it sounds like in 2001, they entered judgments against Jared and his brother Byron. In a complaint filed in March 2001, the commission alleged that the defendants operated a momentum stock picking website called TNT Stock, through which the brothers issued stock recommendations. So he was doing recommendations.
Yes, he was. He was pumping and dumping.
Because he was saying that he wasn't. He said he was just profiling what he was doing, but sounds like he was making stock recommendations on the website via email newsletter to more than 13,000 TNT subscribers. After the recommendations were released, the price and trading volume of the profiled stocks rose dramatically, often more than doubling the pre-recommendation levels. The complaint alleged that the defendants posted false information on Yahoo Club message board, so they would put fake information on there? Like fake stock information?
Yeah, pretty much. He was basically like saying a hot tip, basically.
And it wasn't.
It wasn't, yeah.
So he was putting false information on Yahoo Club message board frequented by TNT subscribers. The complaint further alleged that the defendants falsely claimed, among other things, that TNT's representatives held no more than 5,000 shares of any stocks profiled on the website, and that TNT's representatives would never sell shares until 30 minutes after issuing a recommendation. In fact, the complaint alleged that defendants usually held more than 20,000 shares and sold most of their shares within 30 minutes of the release of their recommendations. The defendants are alleged to have made $195,994.50 in profits from the scheme. Without admitting or denying the allegations contained in the complaint, the defendants consented to the entry of judgments permanently enjoining them from future violations of the anti-fraud provisions of Section 10B of the Securities Exchange Act of 1934 and Rule 10b-5 thereunder, and ordering them to pay disgorgement totaling $195,994.50 and prejudgment interest thereon.
Yeah, which is probably like I think it's 7% with court proceedings. It might be lower. I'm not sure back then, but
so they had to pay it back.
Yeah, they had to pay it back, but they could have been insanely fined, but but they only paid it back to them. The people that actually lost their money, they didn't get jack shit back. They lost it all.
A little bit, Parker. You can come up.
Yeah, so basically the SEC got the money, but the people who got scammed, that actually listened to his advice, they probably lost fucking their asses. Honestly.
They never get their money back.
So they got robbed twice. They got robbed once by Jared and once by the government.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, well, the government doesn't, if you put it that way. Maybe they try to do some sort of reimbursement, but yeah, they don't get whole in part. They got fucked over badly with this deal. That's why a lot of people don't realize pump and dumps are very horrible things. Anyone that does a pump and dump is like really just kind of destroying people's lives. Because some people
that's interesting because he made like the way he made it seem like it was just like, oh, I was just on this website talking about what I did in the stock market when really he was telling people do this and do that. And
no, it's worse than that. He was actually knew these companies because what you do is when you do a pump and dump, and I'm not giving any advice to do pump and dump. It's highly illegal. Do not follow this.
Don't do it, guys. Don't do it.
But you would focus on a small cap company. The reason why they call it cap, basically market capitalization, the total worth of all the stocks combined. So you usually want to focus on something that you can easily manipulate the prices. If a large number, like let's say 2,000 people start buying a bunch of shares. So that's what probably he focused on, low cap 5 penny stocks basically. And that's probably his plan. So he probably bought a bunch of stocks and then he would put up these fake tips like, oh, this is going to explode, guys. I just heard from the Vine. Something's going to come down. They're getting acquired by a company or whatever. I'm just using examples. And then people start buying up and then he sells a half hour later. And then what happens is as soon as he starts selling, all the sell orders come out and the stock will crash even farther than the original price that they bought it from. So let's say that he bought it for, let's say $1. And then he buys 20,000 shares, let's say $20,000, let's say, and then eventually a bunch of people he tells his tip and it goes up by to $3. He starts selling, but because he's selling so many stocks at that particular time, because he had so many, it will drop to like 50 cents or something like that instead of the original $1, or maybe like even lower. And sometimes because if a stock stays at a certain low point, it'll become delisted. And you'll just lose everything once it becomes delisted from the market. So there's a good chance these people might have lost like a large sum of their money and or all their money because of this.
That's wild.
And this guy is acting like, hey, what's up?
You can go, Parker. What were you going to say?
Oh, I was echoing because I had both things on. So. And I was like, why are the two men talking at the same time? So this is all very disheartening.
I know. I'm so disappointed. This is even worse. Like, this is like, I don't like how he talks. Like, how he talked in those emails and how he talks in here. And, like, the way he tries to, like, manipulate. Like, it's very...
Well, I mean, isn't he the one that went on most of the channels after the Kylie case? Like,
yeah, and also a lot of
the one that probably caused the majority of the issues, too, after that case, so...
Go ahead, B2.
Yeah, I agree with you, True Text, and you can lose a lot on margin. I lost a little money on margin. I've done... Well, not margin, options, not margin. I never did margin. Margin's a scam. But anyway... another thing I noticed is I was watching Shinema Shogun and he was talking about how he was personally emailing him about the harassment he was getting, all this stuff, and he was being ignored. So basically, if you think about it, Jared was so busy, just like ignored all the people that were emailing him, say, stop, clear these, clear the information, the misinformation with Kylie Rodney, try to help out. And then he basically ignored them and just went on the panels like that. That's another weird.
Yeah. Yeah, I see this. I mean, Doug seems pretty like, I don't know. I haven't watched him enough to know, but this is disheartening.
Yeah.
I don't know. This has been a really strange weekend, and it's not even over yet. It's making me want to stay in bed tomorrow. I'm almost afraid to get up.
Right.
Well, 1 hour back, for some people, 1 hour back. So,
I mean, I live like 45 minutes to an hour away from Delphi, Indiana, and my daughter has a friend that lives here in the town we live in, and the girl's parents aren't together anymore, but she, the father's remarried, so there's a stepmom in there. And she normally goes over to the girl's house at her dad's house because they live right here in the same town. So my daughter calls me yesterday and asked me if she can go to her friend's mom's house with her for the weekend in Delphi, Indiana. And I'm like, hell no. No, absolutely not. And
Well,
then,
not with the chaos going on there right now.
yeah, and I don't know the girl's mother. Never met her. Never spoke to her. She has no pictures of herself on her Facebook to even know what she looks like. And I'm like, no, nope, not happening. And then today, I had a 2-hour showing from 1 to 3. One of my best friends of 30 plus years, his mom died. She was a great lady, so I had to go to her showing. And then I had to turn around and leave there and go straight to a celebration of life for a buddy of mine that died 3 weeks ago.
Oh,
And then we get home from that, and I'm like, I'll turn on the TV and relax a little bit. And I turn on YouTube and see this. And I'm like, geez, I don't even want to get out of bed tomorrow now. What else could happen this weekend?
Oh, by the way, I wanted to say this real quick. News Nation is reporting that, like, they're talking about the Ron Logan search warrant, and they're making it seem like Ron Logan was involved. And I'm not saying that he isn't, because I don't know. But the way they're making this seem is like this is some new information, and it's not. They pulled out this arrest warrant from like a long time ago and read off the arrest warrant, trying to make it seem like Ron Logan's involved somehow, and they found evidence inside his house when they're just going over some old search warrants. So take that with a grain of salt, everyone, if you hear that news coming out, because it's nothing new. But
since you brought that up on the Ron Logan thing, though, I will throw this in. I was watching a channel a couple nights ago, and I don't remember what the channel was, but there was a guy on there that is a PI, and apparently he's been given inside information by some cops that were working the case. This was a while back that he was given the information, but he couldn't release it. And basically, I mean, he showed he like emails and stuff, and basically the cops were telling him back then that they all felt like Ron Logan was either involved or was bridge guy, but none of the higher ups would listen to him and didn't think it was him. And this PI even went as far as he took a short video clip of Ron Logan walking his dog and kind of overlaid it over the bridge guy clip of him, bridge guy walking. And it was the overlay was a perfect match. And they even had the same weird step with their left leg and everything. It was like, I
think he looks like bridge guy. Like there's a picture where you can see it looks like he has a hat on with like depressions in the hat, and then you see Ron Logan's interview and he has the blue jacket and the depressions in it, and you can kind of see like the shape of his nose. Bridge guy does look like him, but like a lot in that picture I seen. So I don't know. I'm not saying that he's not involved, or I don't know if he actually did it or if he was there too with somebody, with Richard Allen. Who knows? But he's dead now anyway. He died from COVID.
Well, and the charges they put on this Richard Allen when they arrested him, if you look those charges up, those charges are specifically laid out so that you can add other people in there.
Yeah,
so
I read that too.
They suspect that there's more people involved that they haven't gotten yet. And that's what I told my daughter when she asked me to go up there and spend the weekend. I was like, no, until all this is done and over with, there's no way you're going to Delphi. She's 13 years old. And I'm like, no, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that there's so like I don't know. I just don't. Yeah, I think Richard is definitely bridge guy, but well, my camera is way weird tonight. But I think that I just feel that this wasn't his first time, and I feel now that we know he jumped to so many. I mean, we've confirmed, y'all, that he worked in Bradley, Illinois, as a supervisor shift from 2010, manager at Walmart, like confirmed, hands down, from 2010 2012. He moved around so much, and a lot of times those, I know it was for work, but a lot of times these guys will move around specifically for that kind of stuff. And I just, and we've
And the
seen,
Evansdale murders were right around that time.
yeah,
Very similar in
he knew
very
Libby's
similar.
family too. I mean, we've seen pictures of, you know, that bar he was, but there's just some really, I don't think that, I don't know, like people said that how could he, so my question is, people said, how could he have known the girls were going to be there that day? And that is a valid question. I don't know, because that's when you're determining, was it premeditated or was it opportunity? I don't necessarily know if it was opportunity. I don't know anymore.
Yeah.
But I'm obsessed.
Me too. Yeah, I thought there was some like breaking news tonight about Ron Logan, and then I went and watched, and I'm like, why are they bringing this up? It's like an old search.
Well, that's the thing. All it does is screw with the case when they do that kind of stuff, because
yeah, they're like making it seem like there's some big break, and that they like there's evidence in Ron Logan's house of murder, and like there wasn't.
Well, this is what I want to know that nobody's talking about. I've not heard anybody on YouTube ask this question, and they're not talking about it in the mainstream media. Is I would like to know if there are any ties between Richard Allen and the Kleins.
Kagan. Well, they lived on the same
maybe not Kagan, but maybe Kagan's dad.
They lived I think on the same street in Peru, Indiana, like literally on the same street. And I think it's very convenient that, all right, so July 22nd, I think it was, or end of July 2022, they reopened the Evansdale murders, right? Which is very similar to Delphi, like almost, two young girls kidnapped, whatever. They reopened that in July, at the end of July. Then August, they start searching the Wabash River near Kagan's house. Then Richard gets arrested right before Kagan's pretrial hearing, and there's some charges that were been dropped, even though Doug Carter says it's not connected. Regardless, there's still, it does seem like there may be a connection. They used to live on the same street, and we know Kagan literally ran a porn ring, and he was definitely sharing pornographic images with other men under female aliases on, like, chats.
I agree, the Rockways, and I agree with you as well, Esther. I think this is...
by the time this is over, I think Kagan is going to walk or end up in witness relocation.
Oh, yeah, I think so. I think that's a big reason why they're trying to keep it on the hush-hush right now. And this...
Because he even said in that one thing that the guy and the girl that have the site that have been releasing all the information, it just slipped my mind, murder sheet. They even said in one of the things they read that Kagan said that he sat in a red Jeep while a certain person committed the murders or whatever. So I really want to know, now that they've arrested this Richard Allen, if there's any ties to the Kleins.
Yeah.
Hey, Kate, I'm just going to skedaddle. I just want to jump
All
up
right,
to tell you
Tim,
that.
thanks for coming up and explaining it, because I had no idea anything about that.
No problem.
You did a good job.
Thanks. Bye.
All right, thanks for coming up.
Bye.
What's interesting, I've been talking to people who confirmed worked with him, and have said, we are pretty blown away, because like he seemed like the all, nice, funny. Now, some people did say he them out, but that's also could be hindsight. You know, when you find out somebody's a serial killer, you think back and go, yeah, they kind of did creep me out. But I wonder if Ricky Dick was already like
Ricky Dick.
a serial killer, you know, and just happened to find somebody to provide him with somebody. So, but that's
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know. The Rockaway said that Kegan looked up Marathon gas station, which is really close to Richard Allen's house that day. So maybe it was like a meetup spot. I can totally see that. I don't think Kegan was necessarily like, I don't think he did it. I think that was probably Richard, but I think he may have lured them there for him. And
true Texan. I just thought it was appropriate, Ricky Dick, because I don't want to. I just
maybe
can't
knew
stand
where
the guy.
the weapon was brought or something. You know what I mean?
People are claiming they found the knife at the river, that was the big thing. But again, we don't have any proof of that. But that's, yeah, the Rockaways. That's a good. So,
well,
did,
the PI, sorry.
No, go ahead.
The PI that was on the channel the other night, he was going over. He had actually talked to the bartender in that bar where the picture was taken, and the bartender told him that Richard Allen had actually had drinks in that bar with one of the girls' mothers since the murders, and that he used to come in there and drink, and him and the bartender would stand around and talk about, you know, the murders and how big of a tragedy it was and all this. And so, I mean, this guy, I mean, it's not like he was trying to avoid it. He was sitting in the bar talking about it. He apparently had drinks at the bar with one of the girls' mothers.
I'll send you the pic, Kate, but don't check. But yes, keep going. Yes.
It's, and we know that apparently he, when he was doing the flyers, he gave them to the grandmother at no charge. So it's just, I don't know, man.
So the judge recused himself because apparently there's been such an overwhelming request for information, and people on YouTube were like doxing this judge for like not sharing the information apparently on YouTube. I don't know who's doing that, because y'all are making us YouTubers look bad, because we would never do that to a judge, but y'all need to stop.
Oh.
I don't know who the YouTuber was, but I heard about that, and supposedly whoever it was has taken down a lot of the videos, but it goes way deeper than the judge recusing himself. It goes way beyond that. When Delphi is in Carroll County, when they arrested Richard Allen, they took him to another jail, which is in White County. Okay, White County doesn't want him in their jail either, and they actually just had him transported, and he's being held for trial in one of the state prisons because they don't feel safe keeping him in the county jail. They actually said, the sheriff wrote this out, and it's in the court papers, that he did not feel like he could protect Richard Allen, the staff and the police officers that work there, or the jail itself with Richard Allen in that jail. And White County didn't feel like they could either. So it's not just that the judge doesn't want the case. None of the cops want him in their jail because they're afraid. What are they all afraid of if this is the guy that did it and you have him in custody? What are you guys so afraid of?
I don't know. I think there's a lot more that we don't know. Like, I think there's a lot of men attached to that Anthony Shots profile, or Kegan, maybe not exactly attached to the profile, but maybe Kegan was using that and then like luring women to these guys or something, and he put out all their names, because it sounds like the way they charged him with felony murder, which a lawyer was talking about it and said that a lot of times they charge felony murder because they want to, like you said, ground up, they want to leave it open to charge other people, maybe not necessarily for actually doing the crime, but for being involved to some extent. You know what I mean?
And that kind of brings me back to Kagan's dad too, because of what was in the document that the murder sheet released about Kagan, apparently saying he sat in a red Jeep while a certain person committed the murders. And if you go on Kagan's dad's profile, he has pictures of them two standing behind a red Jeep together. So maybe he will end up being added. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. They're leaving the charges open to where more people can be added, and everybody is so terrified of this thing that the sheriffs are afraid to have this guy in their jails.
Yeah.
Well, I know that somebody said that Doug Carter said that he didn't need and this isn't whether or not I think the thing should be sealed. Oh my gosh, sealed, the affidavit or probable cause, whatever the PC is. But Doug Carter said that he didn't need it sealed. So people are like, they have hard evidence against this guy. And I was like, well, I hope so.
Well, if he doesn't need it sealed, then why are they so hardcore about keeping it sealed?
They're making it sound like they're trying to protect him, but don't they have him in like by himself? Didn't they take him to a specific jail to keep him secluded from everybody?
Well, was what. Yeah, they transported him from Carroll County, the Carroll County jail, to the White County jail. But this, just as of I think yesterday, they transported him from the White County jail to an actual state prison. They worked it out with Department of Corrections, and they were going to work out transporting him from the county jail to the actual Department of Corrections to be held in a state prison for trial.
Yeah.
So they're so terrified of this that this guy's not even been to court yet, and they're holding him in a state prison.
Like to keep him safe, or because they're afraid
I don't know. They act like they kind of say it's to keep him safe, but then the way they talk about it is like they're worried about their own safety. The sheriff even mentioned the safety of the cops and the staff that work in the police station.
Well, probably because he's going to get annihilated in prison, so they just are worried about the chaos for the police. I don't know, but, let's just hope Ricky Dick is taken care of. And
I mean, at least in a county jail, you have drunk tanks and holding cells. It would be easy to keep him by himself. I mean,
I was just going to say, maybe him and Jared will share a cell, but that's terrible. This is what happens
never know.
After Parker takes melatonin, y'all. Please don't attack me in chat. I'm just messing around. But this, I don't know. Did we ever figure out, y'all, not to change really quick, but did we ever figure out is there the statute of limitations in Utah now as of 2020 or what? Because we were going.
Utah, the statute of limitations was lifted in 2013 in Utah for only a specific crimes like RIPE of a child, anything that has to do with.
Is this why somebody's saying there is none for an SOL on CA and R in Utah? Statute. Okay, get it. Huh. It will be interesting.
For child, doing it like child RIPE. Like that was in the list of things.
It's very sad that this originated with such a screwed up family in general that, that these two kids had their lives altered in such a way that then one of them went on to, alter somebody else's life. It's just really sad.
Yeah. No, I agree. What was I going to say? It was about Delphi and I can't think. If anyone, well, now that I got a bunch of people in here, I can show. Do you guys want to see the pictures I have from Country Boy? I don't know if he's still in here, but he went to the different spots and sent some pictures, and I know people seeing pictures. So let me.
We should give Ricky Dick 1 hour with Queen Bee, and she'll put him in his
Right?
place.
Well, I always had the theory that they should either they should like buy an island somewhere and take anybody that's convicted of any kind of sexual act with a child and just put them all on this island together and just let them take care of each other, or force them into the military and make them be your front line if you ever go to a ground war.
Yeah, right. Or I mean, I don't have any. I'm not even gonna say. If you're convicted of doing something to a child, what I feel should happen, I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut. But
Well, and I'm also a firm believer that they should bring back public hangings. I think that would reduce a lot of it.
I'm waiting for this all to be clipped.
you know it's gonna be.
Country boy, I just can't get on board with Ron Logan being the killer. I just can't.
But you know what? It's possible he could be bridge guy and not be the killer.
I think I don't know.
I'll
say it. Cut his nuts off. There
guy.
you go, Rockaways. That's it.
He could be bridge guy and be the one that got the girls off the bridge and to the other property, to his property, and not be the one that killed them.
There are people that wonder if whoever was bridge guy, says, says that they wondered if he was like, girls, you're trespassing or something. We need to get out of here, get off this or whatever, get off. And so that's why he was like down the hill.
Well, there were reports that those girls had gotten in trouble before when they were out there because of some of the houses right around there. And when they were coming off the trails, they were crossing private property. And that was one of the reports, was that there were a couple people that lived out there that had gotten onto them girls about staying off their property. So
wow,
that's not that
baby is probably why people are saying some of that. That would make sense of why there was no flipping out, like they were why they went down with him and stuff.
Yeah, I actually bought my 2010 Camaro in Peru. So
wow.
Yeah.
Okay, KK. Yeah, we were all thinking that.
Yep.
Wait, before you show pictures, I just want to tell you one thing, that Alexis Gabe's body was found.
Whose?
Okay, we'll talk about that later. Never mind. You know who she is, right?
Who? Wait, let me look.
Alexis Gabe. Her ex-boyfriend killed her, and they haven't been able to find the body. Once you see her, you'll know. But yeah, they found her, so that's good.
Where at?
Somebody left I can't remember, but somebody left an anonymous tip in the anonymous thing they had set up, exactly where her body was. Somebody finally did the right thing.
Yeah, she went missing in late January.
And then the guy who did it, did where he charged the police with a knife so that he would get shot. And so it was one of those where
suicide by police.
Yes. And whoever knew where she was sent a tip in. So
because that's the real coward's way out, as if suicide is not an easy way out. You can't even do it yourself, so you want to do suicide by police and make them do it for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, say unaliving when you say it.
Sorry.
No,
you're
that's
good.
all right.
Okay,
I say it all the time by accident. Just if you remember, try to. I slip all the time. I always say the wrong thing.
Yeah, every single time I talk.
Unaliving by civil personnel.
Every time I talk about Delphi, Google AdSense cuts me off.
Really?
It says that the content might not be appropriate. I mean, YouTube doesn't, but yeah, it's really weird. Just Delphi. It's so weird. But anyways,
even if you don't really get into anything
well, yeah, you were up on my panel the other night, and we didn't show, and it was weird.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but anyways, all right, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm just flashing them if we go on. This is the cemetery right near, if if anyone saw like the helicopter footage where all the police were pulling in, their bodies were found like pretty much right at like, all right, see this fence right here? On the other side of this fence. Country Boy, he's in chat. He gets all these pictures for me. So right behind this fence is where their bodies were found.
And do you know Ron Logan took several reporters to the crime scene?
He let several reporters go into the crime scene. It wouldn't shock me.
He actually took them back there and showed them where it was.
I mean, that doesn't shock. Like, you know what I mean? I'm waiting for lottery numbers too. I'm going to be a billionaire. I'm going to win. I'm winning tonight. And putting it in the universe so I win the Powerball.
Well, you're only getting half of it because I'm winning too.
All right. Well, we can split it. And Josh, you too. If anyone else has a ticket, we'll all split it. I probably shouldn't say that because y'all are going to hold it against me if I do win. I'm not telling anyone. So.
If she disappears off YouTube, we know what happened.
I'm going to be so quiet about it. If I win, ain't nobody going to know I'm a billionaire.
What was it, like some big lottery today?
Yeah,
Powerball.
Powerball's at like 1.5 billion or something.
Oh, I knew I should have played today or something. Darn it.
It's literally like really, really high.
Well, none of us have to worry about winning because the only people that win are old retired people that don't need it or rich people that don't need it.
I remember on like New Year's, like these rich people were like, they won, and I'm like, come on, man, why is it always people who don't need the money? Like, why can't it be some like homeless person that just buys a ticket and, you know, voila.
With the exception of the 18-year-old from Miami that won it, which really pissed me off because I'm like, I'm 47. I've been working since I was 13. He hasn't even probably had his first job yet.
Right. What happened to Kate? She and her phone were abducted by aliens. Listen, I'll just be in an island somewhere. Nobody will know where I am. I'll have my own private mansion.
When you get there, share the link.
Okay. But I think I am going to hop down, though, because I've been up here for a while. And I'm tired. I worked all day. I was up at like 6:45 in the morning.
Yeah, it's been a long day.
And I've been staring at the computer for like hours, so I can just feel like the blue light just seeping into my brain and making me tired.
So, are you okay with a little shameless self-promotion over here?
Go ahead. Go for it.
Everybody in the chat.
And Parker has a channel too, guys.
Please go check out our channels.
Yeah.
We're all traveling the same road that Kate's been traveling. We're all trying to get to the same spot. So, please everybody check us out.
I'm about to come off, Country Boy. I can come back on tomorrow after work. Thank you all the new people who came up. And yeah, go to Ground Up Garage's channel. Go to Parker's channel. I just shared her link. Hold on. I'll find you. I'll get your link real quick. Let me pull this over here. My light keeps flickering, so if I look like I'm in a club, it's my closet light for some reason.
No, you just have the disco light going already in anticipation of winning the Powerball.
Right?
All right, everybody have a good night. I'm going to hop off here so Kate can get off here.
All right, good night, everyone. And Parker and Ground Up Garage's channel links are in chat. Oh, all right. Thanks for coming.
Have a good one.
You too. Good luck, everyone, on your Powerball tickets. And is the word? Oh, I hope the Phillies. I don't even want to know what the score is in the Phillies game. And thanks to all the new subs tonight who came over from Queen Bees. I hope you enjoyed my channel, and I hope you guys stay. Good night, True Texan. Good night, Gen X. Good night, Penny. I hope everyone stays, all the new people. Love y'all. Thanks, Penny. Yeah, follow Country Boy too. He's in Delphi. Well, close to Delphi, and he goes to all the spots for me. So make sure you follow him. Good night, everyone. Thanks for coming.